Cryptic Humility.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Cryptic Humility. My name is Vanessa Hurley. I am your host and guide. We are on episode 7, and this week we are getting into DApps a little bit deeper. Last week, or actually the week before, because I had the flu all last week, and if you're wondering how I'm doing, I am still not well. The flu has absolutely kicked my butt in regards to the chills and the fever and the sweats, and it's been terrible. Like, there's no other way to say it. But I'm feeling a lot better now. Not 100%, but good enough to put this podcast episode out there for you guys like I promised. And in our last episode, we were talking about Aave, a very popular DApp on Ethereum's blockchain. This week, we're going to be getting into a couple other DApps that I think are important. Of course, we're going to have you guys do your homework after we talk, but I just really wanted to put the most popular ones out there for you guys and kind of like a gist of what they are and why you should pay attention to them, or maybe even potentially get involved in them. So, and actually we do have a Q&A question that's going to get answered later on in this podcast episode, so hang tight for that. Let me think if there's any other class announcements. I think that's it. So in regards to DApps, we're going to be talking about a few important sections. So we're going to be talking about collectibles, we're going to be talking about virtual worlds, we're going to be talking about just general gaming, we're going to be talking about exchanges, and maybe a couple others along the way. I know Aave is also borrowing and lending, which we will touch upon in this episode, just a quick debrief of what we talked about last episode and kind of how Aave differs from one of the DApps that we're going to be talking about in this week's podcast episode. Also, I listened back to one of my podcast episodes and I was just getting blown up with text messages, so I muted it this time around so you guys wouldn't be like listening to the constant dinging in the back, because I know that's probably so annoying. And of course, as always, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, we do visuals, and we do visuals on Spotify and on YouTube. So if I say something and I need to add something to that, or there's something I forgot to include, or maybe even a correction because nobody's perfect, that will always be on the video visual for you guys to see. So definitely, if you are more of a visual learner, I would suggest either watching on Spotify or watching through YouTube. All right, let's get into it. So the first DApp we are going to talk about is OpenSea. OpenSea is a wicked popular DApp, but before we get into it, we need to talk about NFTs, which are non-fungible tokens. So when we're thinking about NFTs and we're questioning what it means to be a non-fungible token, a non-fungible token is just a token that doesn't equal the same value of another token. It is a unique token, if you will. And in regards to token, that could be digital art, that could be digital recordings, that could be a gaming rewards that you get through games, which we're going to talk about today. It's specific digital art pieces or artifacts, if you will, or music or audio recordings, and etc. Even like virtual game tickets, for example, that has a unique asset and it has a unique value. Compared to a fungible token, where a fungible token is just like 1 Bitcoin is always going to equal 1 Bitcoin. The value of 2 Bitcoins is always going to be the same. There's not going to be 1 Bitcoin that is a rarity, if you will. It's a rarity. It separates. It likes to be different. It's the black sheep of other Bitcoins, and it is its own entity. That will not ever be the case in fungible tokens, and that could be the same for Solana. That could be the same for Ether, for example, but and in Bitcoin. But non-fungible tokens, I like to think, in the most basic term, is just digital art. It's art that can't be duplicated, can't be repeated. It's very unique, stands out against others, and has a unique set price for a unique set asset. So now I'm going to give you guys another example so we can connect this all back to OpenSea. So you know how we can go to auctions, and at auctions, people will be selling celebrity artifacts, for example, or maybe a painting that's worth like $1 gazillion. But at first you go into it and, you know, people are auctioning off how much they think that tangible item would be. And as most of us know, many people go into that thinking that they're going to spend X amount of money, and then the bidding war happens and they end up spending so much more. And in an auction, everything is tangible. We see the item in our hands. You know, we can feel the item, we can see the item, we could hang the item if it's art. Like, we know it's a tangible item at auctions. So now, with OpenSea and this DApp and this network, we're taking it a step further and we're doing digital auctions. So, and like I just told you guys in the examples I gave, but for this reason, I'm going to give one example, and that's digital art. What if somebody created like the most valuable, just putting this out there, the most valuable digital art of Donald Trump? It was like the most brilliant digital art we've ever seen of this man. Maybe it was like his picture created, you know, when he got shot. Like, maybe it was something like that, and somebody created a digital artifact of it, and people on OpenSea can go to bid for that artwork. And basically, if they win that artwork, they're rewarded with an NFT, a non-fungible token, which shows that they have ownership of that item. But OpenSea was created around 2016, 2017 to be able to auction digital items, digital game cards, digital recordings, maybe specific music clips that are really popular, maybe even samples in music that are really popular. And like I keep saying, digital art. We have auctions in person for tangible art, but what do we do when we don't have an auction for digital art? How can we purchase digital art and claim ownership of those things? That's what OpenSea is doing for us. OpenSea was the first ever NFT platform on Ethereum's network to do something like this, and it has a trading volume of around 10 million. A lot of popular investors have gotten involved with it. It's super easy to access, but on OpenSea, they have an auction network, if you will, called Seaport. So Seaport is where you can see any available NFTs, or any available digital art. You can see what's up for bids, what's already been taken, what's open for sale, you know, what has yet to be bid if you want to be included in the bidding process. But you can buy, sell, and trade NFTs through OpenSea network. This is very simple to access, by the way, guys. All you have to do is type in ethereum.org, and actually right in the beginning of ethereum.org, it will show you all the popular NFTs to get involved with, and OpenSea is one of them. On the video footage, you guys will see an example of an NFT that got sold. I want to be able to give you guys kind of like a visual of how this works. But obviously, like in the simplest of terms, if you've ever been to an auction in real life, it is literally just an auction site online for all digital artifacts now. That is what OpenSea is. And it's gotten really popular. It's one of the most recommended DApps on Ethereum's network. If you just type in ethereum.org, like I said, you should be able to see OpenSea there. And all you have to do is connect your crypto wallet. So if you connect your crypto wallet, the only thing is that you cannot pay for digital artifacts and NFTs with fiat money. You have to pay with Ether. So you're required to transfer your funds to Ether from your crypto wallet, and then from there you'll be able to buy artifacts and whatever else, whatever sparks your interest, whatever you think could be of value. Or also you could start selling your art, your recordings, your, like, let's say one of your audios went viral on TikTok and you have ownership of it, obviously, and you're looking to sell it. This would be a perfect opportunity to do that without having to go to an auction in person and click play to listen to your audio recording and you're just standing up there. There's no like tangible item per se for you to pass off to somebody else. So OpenSea network would be a great opportunity, a great DApp for you to utilize and even just explore and see what other people are selling. If you're an artist, this is a massive opportunity for you to really put your art out there and be able to sell it. It's giving you the opportunity to do so without having to go through an old school way of having people show up. It's just so much easier to do things online. That is OpenSea network. And also I'm going to list a couple of crypto wallets that it accepts in case you're curious, but we've gone over a couple times in the podcast what crypto wallets you should use, generally how to set them up, and kind of what they're for. But your public key and your private key, as we've stated, but it should be a relatively easy, simple setup for you guys to get started with. All right, let's talk about DApp number 2 that I think is relevant and pretty cool to participate in, and that would be Gods Unchained. So, if you are a video nerd, calling all video nerds, this episode is for you. And honestly, if you are a true video nerd, you probably are already like, Vanessa, I've known about this for so many years and you are so behind. But for everybody who doesn't know, Gods Unchained is a video game, if you will, that you can play on Ethereum's network where you, through battles, are I am not a video gamer. Just by how I'm going to explain this, people are going to be like, okay, Vanessa. But so basically, you're playing against your opponent and you're trying to win, but you have special gods depending on the cards that you collect from winning battles. So the more battles you win against other people, the more rare your deck becomes, if you will. And every single card is a god that has special powers. So I'm going to show you guys a video of this. I'm going to find a video to show you on the visual on the podcast because obviously I'm not doing an amazing job explaining it. But it's just like you're on one side, your opponent's on another side, and let's say you've won like 20 battles and you start collecting rare cards. What is so cool about this is that there's like over 1,000 cards that you could collect. So there's definitely specific like legendary cards, mystic cards, rarity cards that you can collect over winning certain battles against your opponents. But also, Gods Unchained has a marketplace. So you can actually earn a dollar amount for the cards that you collect. Let's say you collected a super rare card on Gods Unchained and you're just over the video game, you don't play it anymore. You can actually put that card up for auction, if you will, in the marketplace on Gods Unchained, and other people who are really invested into the game can actually buy that card off you for a tangible amount, which I think is really cool. And you can earn rewards like incentive, like money through playing games as well through Gods Unchained. That's also on Ethereum's network. So if you are a video gamer and you're super interested in kind of AI and more Web3 focused or even blockchain focused games like Gods Unchained, absolutely that would be my number one suggestion, especially if you're a beginner on Ethereum's network or Ethereum's blockchain. You're kind of exploring things and seeing how they work. Gods Unchained was recommended by Ethereum on Ethereum's website because it's one, very popular, and two, it kind of teaches you about the rewards and incentives that you can get and how to utilize them on the marketplace, how to utilize them and potentially make profit. All right, let's play a quick 2-minute video here and we will come back, and after we're done watching this video, we will move forward to the next DApp that I think is relevant and kind of just interesting to talk about and hear about. Let's get into the third DApp that I think is relevant. And by the way, while I'm here, I know I'm going through these pretty quickly, but that's just because I'm giving you guys the gist and the news of what's relevant and where I think your research should start. Of course, like I say in every podcast episode, this is a class. So as much as I'm trying my best to teach you guys about these concepts and kind of open you up, and we already did an episode on blockchain technology, and then we did an episode on Ethereum versus Bitcoin, and we've already done an episode on DApps part 1, where we talked about Aave and kind of how these things work, especially how DApps work off Ethereum's blockchain and network. Now, these are just some examples of other DApps that I think you guys should get involved with and do your research on, just like I do. Every single week I explore different topics, and then I make sure, obviously after doing the directed study, I have a great understanding of the foundation of things, but I still do my research and then I present it to you guys, and then whatever you're interested in, do your homework, or ask a question on the podcast if you're curious. And let's say you're curious about Gods Unchained and you have a specific question, or you're having issues with your crypto wallet or whatever it may be. Ask us a question through the podcast. And actually, if you're listening through Spotify, you can comment directly below the podcast episode now on Spotify, so we will get your questions answered. But this is kind of just like a fun episode for you guys to hear about different DApps if you're new, and then from there kind of do your own research and see what you find that works best for you. But anyways, that was Gods Unchained. If anybody is a video gamer and kind of wants to venture into Ethereum, that might be your avenue to venture. Or if you're an artist, like I said previously, and you have so much experience in creating digital art or creating digital recordings, then OpenSea Network might be a great opportunity for you as an upcoming artist to put your stuff out there and kind of get ahead of your competition and go the avenue that not many of them are going, and that is through blockchain technology. And then this is my favorite one. I'm so amped to talk about this. So chapter 3, we're getting into Decentraland, which is a virtual world. This is honestly what I think is so cool about blockchain technology, is Decentraland is a virtual world where you can create your own avatar. You can go out and, do you guys remember Club Penguin? Club Penguin, where you could create your own penguin. You could dress your own penguin. You could earn rewards, through the game if you played the game over time. Oh my god, I miss Club Penguin so much. We all played it in 2nd grade. Don't even lie. Don't even sit here and lie. You played Club Penguin. But anyways, Decentraland is like a virtual world where you can dress your avatar, and your avatar can basically collab with other people. It's literally like a virtual network for people to just hang out and disguise themselves, if you will, as their avatar. So I think that it's so cool because, unlike Club Penguin, for example, Club Penguin is run by a central server. It's run by a central company. Decentraland is run off Ethereum's blockchain, so it's decentralized, and actually all the users are in charge of the platform's upgrades, the platform's policies, principles. All the users are creating the wardrobe that goes into your avatar, and it's just super cool because the whole community has a say and a vote in where the virtual world goes and what's included in the virtual world and what things can you do, how you can collab. It's community run, much like how Ether's blockchain is run based off of proof of stake, which is all validators that are chosen at random to protect and keep transactions verified and decentralized. Now, even in virtual worlds on Ethereum, are we seeing people be able to participate and have a vote and have a say in the regulation and the safety of a platform or of an app, instead of having to send a Google review or feedback into a central company. Now your voice is heard even more in gaming, but also in virtual worlds. To me, I think Decentraland is so cool. It's so simple to set up. Everything on Ethereum's blockchain network is literally just setting up your crypto wallet, and if need be, transferring or converting your funds to Ether. Once you can do that, you have a whole world on Ethereum that opens up for you to mingle with people, to collab in the virtual world, but also, just like Gods Unchained, in Decentraland, let's say your avatar name is super unique, or your avatar's clothing is super unique, or even the land that you buy or the land that you have in Decentraland is super unique. Decentraland also has a marketplace that you could go on and sell. You can sell your avatar's name, you can sell your avatar's features, you can sell your avatar's land to other people that use the virtual world. I think that's so cool that it's like a lot of people say that when you're a gamer, it's like, oh, well, you're wasting all your time playing video games, or you're wasting all your time on the internet, and you're not getting anything out of it. You're just escaping. While this is a super healthy escape, and at the end of it, with all the time and energy that you've put into it, you could actually make some money out of it. I think that's really cool. And for people that, because like my brother is a huge, like, I don't want to say he's a video gamer, but like I grew up with him playing video games, and it's like something that even my partner is like super into. And I know there's certain apps that you can monetize, like you can start making money through playing, but that takes X amount of years. This is the same thing, except for you're not working for that centralized company. For like example, if you played NBA online and you worked for a central company that owned that program, instead on Decentraland, it's all the people that use the program that have the rights, the access, and the ability to improve the program. So it's like everybody has a say, you're investing your time into it, and you could also potentially make some money back after you're done using the game, depending on how rare your avatar, your land, or even your username could be. So I think that's really cool. And honest to God, like, I am not a video gamer, but I was really tempted to get involved into it. Like, I want to create an avatar, and I think it's super cool for people who are involved in blockchain, crypto, Web3, all these futuristic topics. It's actually like a network, if you will, to talk to more people who are technologically advanced in the direction that you want to be. If you're looking to connect with more people who are blockchain focused or crypto focused or just futuristic focused, then Decentraland and these virtual worlds might be a great opportunity for you to kind of go into it. And it's not like LinkedIn where your face is being shown and it's like such a great opportunity to remain masked in a healthy way, escape your current reality, but also connect with other people who have the same kind of purpose as you. Okay, last DApp we're going to get into before we talk about the current news, which is so relevant to talk about this week, it's not even funny. I want to talk about Uniswap. Uniswap is super popular too. And actually, before we get into that, last week we talked about Aave. Aave is another popular DApp on Ethereum's blockchain, but Aave is a lending and borrowing DApp. So if you are interested in lending out your crypto, if you have X amount of crypto, you're looking to lend it out, you can actually earn interest by the borrowers paying you back for your lending in crypto through Aave. And also through Aave, you could become a borrower. So you can have a variable interest rate. There's no specific time you need to pay back the crypto that you borrowed. You do have to collateralize your crypto, meaning that you have to give out a certain amount of crypto to be able to borrow. And that's just because crypto is a super volatile market. Volatile meaning that it's very unpredictable. There's a lot of highs and lows. A lot of coins are backed just by supply and demand. So there is risk in borrowing and lending, but Aave gives you the opportunity to borrow and lend crypto. When we're talking about Uniswap is not about borrowing and lending. It's more of an actual exchange. So we know that Coinbase is a centralized exchange where you can have a custodian wallet, meaning that Coinbase is kind of taking care of like being a market maker and watching market moves and watching the volatility. And it's a centralized exchange. Long story short, it's a centralized exchange. Uniswap is a decentralized exchange that is solely backed by supply and demand, where there are liquidity pools, which is very similar to Aave. If you haven't watched last week's episode on Aave, definitely check it out, because it's gonna make sense at why I'm kind of moving a little bit faster in Uniswap, because they're similar. They're just, one is a lending and borrowing platform and one is an actual exchange. But this exchange for Uniswap is solely by liquidity pools, meaning that a bunch of people put Ether into a liquidity pool and other cryptocurrencies that they may have, And based off, let's say that I put in a ton of Ether, and in return I wanted like Sol, I wanted Solana, for example, then the pool is always going to stay balanced. So if I'm taking out a little bit of Solana, then the liquidity pool is going to make sure that it recovers in an increase in Ether. So all you need to know with Uniswap is that it's run by users. It's an exchange. Instead of Coinbase being run by a head company, Uniswap is an exchange that's run, like, if you want to take it even a step further, it's run by its people. So even if you thought we were getting super, super technologically advanced in Coinbase, Ethereum and Uniswap is taking it a step further and making even the exchange itself decentralized. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. So Uniswap is very complex because it has an automated market maker, which if you're watching the video, I'm putting a definition of what an automated market maker is. And also I'm going to put a couple more points about Uniswap on the visual for you because I know we're just debriefing this one very quickly because we talked in so much detail about Aave last week, and Uniswap is very similar to Aave. It's just, like I keep saying, it's just like an exchange instead of a lending and borrowing kind of platform. But what I wanted to say is picture a Yankee swap. In order to be able to swap gifts with other people, we first must put all of our gifts into a pool. So then once we have all of our gifts into a pool, we're able to trade against each other or pick and choose what kind of gifts that we want. Same thing kind of goes for Uniswap, where if we're all putting our Ether in or other tokens in, then we can kind of pick and choose what we want. But it's important that the pool is always balanced in supply and demand. And one of the ways that Uniswap is able to operate decentralized is through automated market makers. So make sure to check out the video if you're kind of questioning what that is. But I need to move forward because we did talk about a lot today. We covered a lot of ground, but I need to move forward and I need to talk about the global news right now. What is going on in the global news is insane. Chapter 4, we are talking about Elon, which we will be talking about Elon quite a bit since, like, God is blinding me right now with the truth. The truth is so soul-bearing right now that I cannot unsee it. Does anybody else feel incredibly blinded by the light right now? In the best way possible, meaning that all these hidden things that we had no idea about with our government, with the IRS, is all coming to light. And the news event that I want to talk about this week that's super relevant is that Elon right now is auditing the IRS. It is so crazy to me that the exact organization that has taxed us to no end, taxed us on literally everything, we have never really audited and watched where all that money was going. You guys aren't hearing me enough when I say that blockchain technology in crypto could be solving all these issues for us. Instead of getting Elon Musk and Doge, which I love the idea and I love the concept and I think this is brilliant and it's long overdue and we needed an audit and these huge institutions should be audited regularly anyway. I think, listen to me now, I'm telling you, if we had blockchain technology, if we implemented or mandated big institutions like the IRS to be operating on blockchain technology, that means that all their transactions would be on a public ledger. Look, you don't have to be a pro in crypto to hear me and understand this concept. It's like a bank ledger. So every single transaction is recorded, it's out in the open, it's public. Anybody who accesses the network or the blockchain can see every single transaction. So if we had the IRS on blockchain technology, we'd be able to see where all the money is going, which account it got transferred to who it got transferred to, for how much, when. We'd be able to see this as the public, especially talking about our taxes, because like, whoa, are we coming to the light about where all of our tax money has been going and all the investigations and all the corruption. And I just don't understand how people can see Elon and Trump as like bad forces. They have billions of dollars. They've been incredibly successful in their careers. They have nothing to prove to anybody. And they're putting their life on the line to help us figure out how our money as middle class American people, where all of our money is going, why we're struggling to pay groceries and all these things. It's absolutely crazy. Picture this. You are dating somebody that you think is cheating. You have your best friend do a loyalty test with them by your consent to figure out if your partner's cheating. You then find out that your partner is cheating. And instead of getting mad at your partner, you get pissed at your friend who helped you figure it out. It's like, that is what I feel like a lot of people are doing right now. A lot of American people are doing. They're realizing, oh shit, excuse my language, maybe we're getting scammed. Maybe there's a fraudulent activity going on. Maybe the party of freedom and love and humanity is deceiving us. And that's exactly what's going on. And no matter where you are, eventually the truth is going to come to you. Eventually all this corruption is going to be exposed as we dive into politicians and their high salaries and all that suspicion that you've probably been reading in on X and on TikTok. We're going to see the truth. The truth is going to be so blinding. If it's not blinding you now, it's going to blind you soon, and everybody's going to wake up. The same thing goes for MAHA, which is our health. And whether you're Democratic or you're a Democrat or Republican, you should want our nation to be healthier. It's less about who is running it and more about their intention. And I think RFK Jr., Elon Musk, Donald Trump have all been as transparent as blockchain technology, and that is incredibly transparent. But I'm trying to get through to you guys that none of these issues would ever evolve. We'd never have to do an audit. We'd never have to think, holy crap, we've been dealing with fraudsters for X amount of years. All this would already have been brought to the light. And moving forward, blockchain technology should be implemented. It's like an audit every day. Blockchain technology is an audit every day. And when we're relying on technology, there's not one central organization that could be corrupt because multiple people are managing the blockchain. So somebody from Doge might be managing the blockchain, and somebody from the IRS may be managing the blockchain, and then freaking Donald Trump is managing the blockchain, and there would be no corruption allowed. And that's what I'm trying to get people to see, and not a lot of people are hearing me. Not enough people are hearing me about blockchain technology. All this corruption and fraud that's happening in the IRS, that's happening in FEMA, hearing all the transgender things we're supporting and the DEI things that we're supporting, where and Elizabeth Warren saying that we as American people don't deserve to know where our money is going is just absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. And I don't want to get too political here, and I know I need to end this podcast episode soon because I'm starting to lose my voice from being sick, but none of this would evolve if we gave crypto a chance. We don't give crypto a chance because, like I said, a lot of people don't understand it, and also we're still dealing with scammers and fraudsters, etc. And if your fear is, we're going to deal with scammers and frauds and blockchain, yeah, we do still need to pay attention to the technology and give it the care it needs to grow into its potential, but it's so much safer than the giving all of our money and power to one central organization, and then they're never held accountable to go through an audit. And if they don't pass an audit, it's just crazy to me. But definitely I'm hoping that things change. If you are listening right now and you have no concept of crypto, that's okay. All you need to know is that there's actually better technology like blockchain technology out there now that puts power to the people and leaves transparency as not a privilege, but an expectation. And I think if more organizations like the IRS implemented that, we would have way less problems in our society, and the truth would never be this blinding again. But of course, God always has the truth prevail. The truth always prevails. If people are still in denial, they soon will not be able to deny what is going on anymore. But all the more reason to give blockchain technology a chance and truly hear what I'm saying. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm going to go now because I am starting to feel unwell again. But please, if you want to be on the show, if you have questions about the podcast, leave a comment below on Spotify, or you can email us at cryptic.humility@gmail.com. If you have a scammer story and you want to be posted and we want to hear from you, we need feedback about these ideas of, about blockchain technology, about the IRS, anything that you want to contribute to the podcast. It is literally, your voice deserves to be heard, and this is an outlet for you to do that. So definitely shoot us an email, any questions, comments either on YouTube, and stay tuned for all relevant news that we post on X, TikTok, and all other social media platforms. Thank you guys so much for listening. My name's Vanessa Hurley, and this is Cryptic Humility. Have a good night.